Okay, so I'm doing a second recording because my first one was actually really bad, so this is the remix version. I thought I would talk about what I thought of PSO2 coming to the West, and, I'm a little happy that Fantasy Star is moving to the West. Um, I do have some concerns, mostly the licensing and potential censorship stuff. I know is going to be a big one, but that's not too much of an issue for me, I guess. The licensing, I guess I never really had too many collab items in the first place. The censorship, I am slightly concerned for because, I mean, obviously some of the costumes are going to get censored, but I'm also thinking of like cutscenes. I'm hoping that any censorship doesn't break the cutscenes or the story flow, um, which would really suck if that happens. So I think what I'm going to do here is talk about what the good, the bad, and like the middle ground is. So, or at least for a Western release. Now, I think a good way of doing it would be. Now, keep in mind, this is all speculation. Um, we don't have any official details yet or anything. So for me, the good way is going to be take the Grand Blue approach, where they just kind of add a an English option. There's no official English server, or so to speak, but rather just a way for English for the Western people to have the English option, and then you still have the server crossplay. You still connect to their servers because really, I haven't had an issue with ping, except in PvP, but I just did PvP once, but that's like a known issue. For people who play in the West, they're like, yeah, you're gonna get trash if you do that. The bad approach is going to be it's going to be completely severed, and they're going to do what we did with SEA, which some people are saying, oh, you can't be so pessimistic, but we have SEA as a case study to show what happened the other time PSO2 got localized. So really, the worst case is that PSO2 West becomes the SEA release, which would be absolutely horrible because that also instituted an IP ban, which there's ways around it, but it's just a mess to do. Oop, and that's a very loud Discord notif sound. Um, Now the middle ground I think would be is if we had some sort of account transfer issue or account transfer service, not issue, um, where we could move from JP to NA and maybe have some incentives to do so. Um, for me, I would require some pretty big incentive. I've been in PSO2 since I think like the start of episode 2. When I joined in, you could become a braver right at the start. I think it was around episode 2, chapter 1 or 2 being what was released. I started off as a braver. Um, and yeah, so, it's been 5-ish years or so, or almost 5 years. I would lose if you didn't have the account transfer. That would be like braver, phantom, hero, hunter, fighter, and ranger, all down from 90 back to 1. That would also mean losing my lightstream weapon and my lightstream armor set. It would mean, and my Atlas EX weapon as well, which I would really hate to lose. Um, and then let's see what else do. But yeah, that's for the most part. Uh, that's why I would be okay with with an account transfer thing, just because. I mean, I know that it was against the terms of service for us to be playing, so really we don't really have any rights to complain. But we pour some of us who even though it was against the terms of service, we did pour our love and time and effort into the game. So it would be nice to see Sega have like an act of mercy and be like, okay, we know that you guys were, we know that you weren't supposed to be playing here, but since you stuck it out and you waited until our Western release, like, we'll give you your stuff. That would just be the best middle ground for us. And I think with good enough incentive, I would take it. This happened with Fate Grand Order as well. I was a big JP player, and when they announced the NA version, I mean, first off, the NA version didn't have all the content, but I just didn't have any incentive to go back to go to the NA version. I didn't want to redo all of my progress, which, considering all the hours I spent in PSO2, I mean, I could do it again, but the question is, do I want to? Because then it's no longer about advancing. It's just like, well, now I gotta claw all the way back to where I was. And I don't know if I'd want to do that, because it seems really crummy. I'd be way too, I would be way too demoralized to do that. I'd probably just go find myself another game, to be honest. Which means that, yeah, there's some people saying that someone's going to have to move over, or otherwise PSO2 West is going to flop. But I feel like there's a big enough market for people who are like, oh, I would play, but I don't want to deal with all the hoops you had to jump through to go to the JP PSO2 version. So I feel like it's not going to be a flop, but, if you want to claim that I'm one of the people who makes PSO2 West flop because I don't want to switch over to the JP version, I mean, I guess you could say that about me. But I mean, I'm gonna need some big incentive to move, or I guess I'll either stick it out on JP, or if the IP ban happens, I guess I'm gonna go find myself another game. But really, I think the big takeaway now is just we're gonna have to wait and see, really. Just hope for the best and pray that SEA2 doesn't happen. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. Peace out, guys.